Everybody knows 2020 has been a pretty rough year all around, but that doesn't mean there weren't some cool Chromebook releases that happened throughout the year that brought us some first in the Chrome OS ecosystem. Things like 4K AMOLED screens on the Galaxy Chromebook, or the Lenovo Chromebook Duet launching and actually being a useful tablet that a lot of people really like that, happens to run Chrome OS. But along with those successes came some missteps too, and a lot of that's due to the pandemic. We had devices that were either canceled or delayed. We had stuff that just didn't show up on time, or the inventory was too low. And overall, we didn't end up seeing 2020 explode with the number of Chromebooks we expected as 2019 was coming to a close. Looking forward to 2021, however, the story is quite a bit different. Chromebook demand is high, supply chains are back in order, and we're expecting an absolute avalanche of new Chromebooks in the next year. So let's take a look. Today's video is brought to you by our growing and awesome Patreon community. You can check us out over at patreon.com/Chrome Unboxed, but there you'll find access to things like behind the scenes footage, early access content, access to our private Discord channel, and an ad-free experience over at chromeunboxed.com, both on the desktop and mobile versions of our website. Again, if you'd like to learn more, go over to patreon.com/Chrome Unboxed. A quick note on how we know these devices are coming. Chrome and Chrome OS are both based on Chromium and Chromium OS, which is completely open source software, so we can actually see a ton of this development work being done, and anybody that wants to dig around in the repositories and go and look and spend time and find out details about upcoming devices can. There's stuff we know and there's stuff we don't, but ultimately we get a pretty good picture of the general kinds of devices that we expect to see in the next coming 6 to 12 months. So for the sake of this video, we'll just kind of lump these devices into families or groups, and the first one we'll talk about is the 10th gen Comet Lake family of Chromebooks. Now, we expected to see all these coming out in 2020, and we got some of them in the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook and the Asus Chromebook Flip C436 at CES and Las Vegas back in January. So we had 10th gen Chromebooks right from the beginning of the year, but again, like I said in the intro, some of these devices got delayed or pushed back, and there's still a handful of these Comet Lake Chromebooks we've yet to see launch that are still undergoing current development, and we expect to see some of those hit in early 2021. In a similar fashion, there are other devices based on the same chipset that powers the Lenovo Chromebook Duet in the Mediatek MT8183. When that chip started development, we started seeing all sorts of different devices branch off from it, and we've not seen a lot of those devices actually come to market. I think we've got 4 of them total so far, but we're tracking somewhere in the realm of 10 at this point, so we've still got a handful of those bad boys yet to launch. Again, they're probably pushed back or delayed, and there's still quite a few undergoing development, so we fully expect to see those in 2021. So expect more low-end, affordable Mediatek ARM-powered Chromebooks, and maybe one other tablet from that group too. Now we start getting into some of the newer next-gen Chromebooks, and the first group we're going to talk about comes centered around the Intel Tiger Lake 11th gen CPU. We're just now starting to see that CPU show up in a handful of Windows laptops, and we fully expect that we're going to start seeing some Chrome OS devices show up maybe by the end of this year, but most likely in the early parts of 2021. What you need to know about these Tiger Lake Chromebooks is the fact that this new chip from Intel will bring a boost to overall battery and system performance, but also that these are the first chips that come with the new Xe integrated GPU from Intel. And from what we've seen with early test units and early Windows laptops is that this update to Intel's integrated graphics is a massive boost and a massive step forward for what is possible out of the integrated GPU on a Chromebook. So things like Steam games or Linux apps, Windows apps via Parallels, general Chrome OS performance, and the entire system is going to move faster, look better, perform better because of these integrated graphics. In total, we're tracking around 20 of these new Chromebooks, with likely a handful more to show up in development by the end of the year and early in 2021. So there are going to be a lot of Tiger Lake Chromebooks, and that's a very good thing. This chip looks like it's going to be the real deal. In the same sort of category, we've got a whole group of devices coming out with higher end AMD chips, so AMD Ryzen chips. And we had earlier Chromebooks with the A4 and A6 AMD chips that were 5 and 6 year old processors, and those are fine for budget-friendly, low-end Chromebooks that we don't expect too much performance out of, but ultimately we really want to see some of these higher-end AMD chips with their integrated GPU that's always just been better than Intel's integrated GPUs, well, at least up until Tiger Lake. And we're going to finally have some of those. Again, we've got a couple of them that were announced. They haven't started shipping yet. already this year, but we're expecting a handful more as we move into the early parts of 2021. So devices like the HP Chromebook Pro C645 and Lenovo's ThinkPad Yoga C13 are both carrying these high-end Ryzen chips. And while they're not out yet and we don't have hands-on yet, we are very excited about the possibilities there, and we're tracking at least 10 other of these devices in development, and they have been in development for some time, so we really expect to start seeing some more of these AMD Ryzen Chromebooks pretty soon. Another group of devices that we're getting really excited about, and this one actually contains the Chromebook I'm probably most excited about going into 2021, is the group that's going to be carrying the Snapdragon 7C chip. We've been waiting a long time for Snapdragon powered Chromebooks to show up, and we actually got our hands on the first one and couldn't really test a whole lot with it in Acer's Chromebook Spin 513. It's a nice looking device, but we just don't know how that thing's going to perform just yet because it's not actually scheduled to be launching until sometime in February. But around that time frame, we're expecting some of these other Snapdragon 7C Chromebooks to also come out, and if you've gone over to the website at all lately, we've been talking quite a bit about a device codenamed Coach Z, which is going to be a detachable 3x2 high-res 11-inch tablet that, frankly, for me, is going to be the Chromebook that could end up being great as a couch surfing entertainment device, but also a snap in a dock or snap in a detachable keyboard, sit down and get a lot of work done device too. So we're super excited about what could be possible with these upcoming Snapdragon 7C ARM-based Chromebooks. On a very similar note, we actually made a previous video all about this. We have Mediatek's upcoming Chromebook chips. So we've talked about the one that is in the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. That's kind of their low-end chip that manufacturers are going to continue making devices with. But Mediatek's also introduced two new chips, both a mid-range and a high-end, in the MT8192 and the MT8195, and both are being specifically made to support Chrome OS. And so that means they can kind of tweak some of the cores inside these chips to do very particular, specific things that will make Chrome OS more efficient on these particular processors. And so we're super excited about that too, because again, just like the Snapdragon, these are ARM-based processors, which means we could see huge battery numbers, we could see really solid performance, and we'll see great Android app performance out of these because again, they're ARM, and that's what's in phones, and that's what Android apps usually get built for. So there's a bunch of excitement around ARM and around these upcoming MediaTek powered Chromebooks heading into 2021. And finally, no year would be complete without a set of Chromebooks with Intel's latest small core chips inside. So think of the $200 or $300 Chromebooks that have the Celeron N4000 or 4020, Pentium Silver, Pentium Gold, those types of chips, those types of Chromebooks. Each year we get a new version of that small core, more affordable Intel chip, and this year's no different. So with the Jasper Lake chips, we're expecting improved performance, a little bit more speed, and better battery efficiency for low-end Chromebooks. And honestly, because Gemini Lake Chromebooks perform well enough for most people to do most everyday tasks, this is an exciting lineup of Chromebooks that we're tracking that'll have this chip inside, because honestly, giving a little bit of a performance bump and a little bit of a battery bump to an already good overall solution is a solid recipe for a great low-end, low-cost Chromebook in 2021. So I don't even want to say that's it at the end of this video. I mean, listen to what I've just said. We've got 10th gen Comet Lake Chromebooks, low-end, mid-range, and high-end MediaTek powered Chromebooks, 11th gen Tiger Lake Intel Chromebooks, Jasper Lake Chromebooks, Snapdragon 7C Chromebooks, AMD Ryzen Chromebooks, all coming. There's just a ton of stuff on the horizon, so compared to what we were looking at the end of 2019 and moving into 2020, this isn't even a fair comparison. We're tracking more Chromebooks right now in development by far than we've ever seen in the history of Chrome Unboxed, and so we're beyond excited to see what 2021 has to bring. And it's so exciting to see, with all this kind of pent-up demand that's already there for Chromebooks, what it's going to look like when these manufacturers just start delivering Chromebooks in droves over the next 6 to 12 months, because it's going to be a fun time if you're a fan of Chromebooks. But guys, that's it for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, go down there and hit the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.